What is up, guys? I am here to bring you guys information on something new that I am starting, something that can keep me consistent with the content, at least on a weekly basis. All right, as some of you know, I've been gone for a while. I've uploaded a couple videos here recently because school has been out, but school is now coming right back in. So now I have to figure out, how do I want to do consistent content? I have not been good with the managing of time between school, work, and trying to do YouTube in any consistent way, which is why I have never really been consistent. I usually at least had one video a week a couple of semesters ago. I would at least have that. But now it's like, okay, there has to be a way where I can put out at least a lot of information in one time instead of trying to do multiple videos on multiple different subjects. How can I get all the things I want to talk about out in maybe, I don't know, one video? So I decided to do a podcast, and the podcast will be called Days' Lost Legacy. And as the title is inspired by, it will be a video game podcast going over some of the video game news and some of my thoughts on the video game industry and how things could be changed and what pitches I would like to make to the industry. And that is the way I'm hoping to differ myself from the standard gaming podcast. I don't listen to a bunch of them. There are some that I listen to, but I've never heard any come up with like pitches of their own for the gaming industry. People give their thoughts on how they want stuff fixed when it comes to like DLC and even stuff like loot boxes and all those type of issues. But I'm talking about actually giving ideas back to the gaming world, you know, the big guys. Though I know they're not going to listen, so I got a clever title of what I'm going to call that segment. You guys will find out on the podcast, and I'm hoping to do the podcast on Wednesdays, every Wednesday. Now, tomorrow is Wednesday. I do plan on having the first episode up then. I don't know when I'll be able to get it up on iTunes and Google Play stores and all your podcast services. I will attempt to get it up on those services. I've never done that before, so that is going to be a learning curve. Getting up on YouTube is going to be very easy, very simple. Picture, audio, done. It is going to be an all audio podcast. There will be no visual to go with it. Picture, audio, done. Trying to hit at least 30 minutes an episode. I believe that that's very easy with the topics I'm going to cover, with the pitch segment that I'm coming up with. I think it'll be easy to do at least 30 minutes, possibly an hour, depending on what happens throughout the week. It will be a weekly podcast every Wednesday covering what has happened between that last Wednesday and the current Wednesday, all the big topics. I will not hit every topic. There will be some topics that you guys will be like, why didn't you talk about this? It's because I didn't consider it big enough to talk about, or interesting enough to me to where I would have some type of interesting insight on the topic. If I can't give interesting thoughts on it, I will not cover it. But that is it for this video. I hope you guys tune in to Days' Lost Legacy. I will give you updates of when it gets on iTunes, and I will give you an update when it gets on Google Play Store and all your podcast services. Right now, it's going to be a strictly YouTube-based podcast until I can figure that out. And I do hope to get viewer questions involved, but that will not be in this first week. That may not even be week 2. Depends on how this podcast spreads. If it gets bigger, if people start asking me questions, I will get viewer questions involved. Until then, it's just going to be me. I'll bring on special guests every now and then. But actually, I'm excited about this, and I think this could be something that I actually can be consistent with. Wednesdays is a very open day for me as far as classes and work goes. It's probably the only open day I have throughout the week. So I think 30-minute to an hour podcast will be absolutely great to cover all the stuff I want to cover in the gaming community. So guys, I hope you stay tuned. I hope you tune in to Days' Lost Legacy. I cannot wait to go on this journey with you all. Thanks for the support so far. This channel has kept growing even though I haven't been consistent. I thank you all for that. So I hope you guys continue with me through the podcast.